I was like, I feel like I need a poo. She's like, I need to poo, can I go poo? I was like, what if I pee and she comes into the toilet? Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So today I've got a little guest with me. As you all know, I was pregnant and I had a really tough pregnancy, so I hadn't been able to post as much. But Kanaya here, she was born on Saturday the 21st. It is now a week later, so she is a week old. I just wanted to bring her on here, introduce her, and yeah, go through my labor and delivery story with you guys. It was a really long labor. About, I was 37 hours ish, I'd say. It was so tiring, and there was a few complications afterwards, so we were in hospital for about 3 days after. We didn't come home till the Tuesday. So yeah, as I said, this is Kanaya. As I said, she was born on the 21st. We started having contractions Friday morning. At around 9 I woke up. I felt a little like twinges, and I thought they were Braxton Hicks because, you know, I've had those before many times. Went downstairs to the toilet, came back, another 15 minutes or so, there was another one, and I was like, okay. I let that go on for like at least an hour and a half, nearly 2 hours. So it was like midday now, and I was like, okay, to my boyfriend, I was like, I think I'm in labor. He didn't believe me because I've had Braxton Hicks quite a lot and it was never the real thing. So I was like, no, I think I'm in labor, like constantly every 15 minutes or so. So it kept going on. I had something to eat, and you know, it's not the most comfortable thing getting pains every 10 minutes or so. And then I called my midwife in the afternoon, maybe about 3ish, and you know, I was like, oh, I think I'm in labor, and I explained to her what was going on. At this point, they've started being every 10 minutes, so I was like, oh yeah. And then she just told me, you know, take some pain relief, and try wait out, because they try to not get you into hospital until you're like about 5 minutes apart, or having contractions, like 3 contractions in 10 minutes. So I was like, okay, took some pain relief, you know, just waited around the day. Contractions started getting a bit stronger in the evening, they were getting shorter. Together they were about 5 minutes apart. So I called the midwife-led unit and I was like, oh yeah, I've been having contractions, they are now 5 minutes apart. And you know, I was explaining about the pain, it was getting a bit worse. And they asked me if I took pain relief, I was like yes. Asked me if I tried to take a bath, and I was like no. So they suggested I take a bath to try, you know, that might help ease me along, and you know, to keep moving and stuff, to try help the labor along. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll do that. So it was Friday night, it's our family takeaway night, so they ordered that takeaway, and here I was in pain trying to eat my Chinese peacefully, but getting contractions every 5 minutes. It was not an enjoyable experience at all. So I basically went the whole day Friday without, you know, going to the hospital, just trying to wait until those contractions were 3 in 10 minutes. And then we came to the time for sleep. You know, my boyfriend, he was able to sleep because he wasn't having any pain, but I was there getting contractions every like 4 minutes, and I was like, ow. And then it started being a bit irregular, so I was like, wait, I could not be in labor. But then around 4 in the morning, I was like, no, I can't do this anymore, we need to go to the hospital. So I called them back and they were like, all right, come in. But so we got into the hospital and they put me into my room and they were like, okay, we're gonna examine you and see if, you know, I'm actually in labor. And then she went in, examined me. The examination was so uncomfortable, put fingers up me. I was not prepared for that. It hurt. I can't even explain it. It was just uncomfortable, not nice. They were like, breathe through it, and I was like, no, this does not feel right. And then yeah, she was like, okay, so seems like you're 3 centimeters dilated, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's actually happening. That's when it hit me. I was like, I'm actually gonna have a baby today or soon. But little did I know that first time labor delivery can take a while for first time mums. So yeah, I had a long day ahead of me, another long day ahead of me. So they left me for about 4 hours, and they said we'll come back and check you again to see if you are further along, because they want me to be about 5 centimeters, 4 or 5 centimeters dilated. And I was like, okay. So she offered me more pain relief, and I was on gas and air. But turned out the gas and air didn't even work, so it was just my own breathing. I guess because I thought it was working. I've never had gas and air before, so I didn't know what it was meant to be doing. Anyway, so 4 hours later, it was about what, 8 in the morning. 8 in the morning. She came to check me again. She's like, looks like you're still 3 centimeters dilated. Unfortunately, we advise for the ladies to go home, try relax, because being in a relaxed environment is meant to help bring the labor along, bounce on your birthing ball, have a warm bath, walk around, keep on your feet. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I cannot do this for any longer. The pain. They gave me some pain relief to take home. It was coating something, I don't know. But it didn't really have much effect. But I was like, okay, fine. And she was like, come back when they're constantly you are constantly getting 3 contractions every 10 minutes, and the pain is worse or whatever. So I was like, fine. So we went home, and then it got to about 11, 12, and I was like, they were getting so strong. And I was like, no. I was like, this is definitely, I was like, if I am not further along right now, I don't know if I can do this. So I was like, we need to go back in. I called them back, and I was like, no, the pain is too much. I was like, I need to come in. So we went back in, and she was like, oh, it does look like things have progressed a bit, because she could tell from the way I was walking and talking. And I was like, can this baby come already? Because I had about had enough at this point. And then went back into the same room. The examination was like, oh yeah, so you're 5 centimeters dilated. And I was like, oh, thank God, because if they had to send me home again, I don't know if I could have coped. So then they were like, oh yeah, we'll come back in another 4 hours to check how long you are. But this time they were checking the baby's heart rate regularly. There was a midwife, she was a student midwife in there with me constantly checking on me. The contractions, oh my gosh, they were just, I don't know, they were just something else. You could see my belly like moving and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, I was going through so many emotions. I cried, and then I was happy, and then I was like this. So originally I wanted to have a water birth, which I did end up having. So they were like, do you want to try going to the pool? They were like, we can bring the gas and air there with you. And I was like, yeah, okay. So this was the new gas and air. This one still was not working, but it was a bit better. She was like, because it's meant to make a noise when you suck it in, but it wasn't always making that noise. So I was like, okay. I went into the pool, and she was like, it might help soothe you a little bit. I was in there maybe for about an hour maybe or so, and then I was like, the next step of pain relief was this injection, diet something, I don't know what it's called, but it's an injection that goes in your leg. But I wasn't allowed to stay in the pool because it can make you feel quite drowsy. But she was like, in 4 hours, if it's worn off and you are, ready to give birth by then, you're more than welcome to go back into the pool. So I was like, do I risk it or do I not? But I was like, no, the pain's too much. I was like, give me the injection right now. So I took the injection and we went back into the room. And yeah, it hit me, that injection. It just made me feel really sleepy. I can't say that it helped the pain at all because I was still feeling it quite a lot. And then it came to a point later on, I was like, I feel like I need a poo. She's like, I need to poo, can I go poo? Apparently that's what every mom says you know, before they push, it feels like they need to poo. So I was going to the toilet and I was peeing and I was scared to pee. But they had to do, you know, they had to do the examination. It was later on at night now. It was probably about nearly 9 o'clock at night, and then I was like, oh no, I can't pee, because I was scared to pee in case it was Kanaya coming, and I was like, what if I pee and she comes into the toilet? So they had to drain me with a catheter. Another experience I'd rather not experience again. Not pleasant. And then yeah, I was just, my contractions was coming so hard and I was feeling it in my back, in my butt, and I was like, oh no. And then they had to do the examination again, and she went in and she was like, oh, there's the baby's head, I need you to do a little push into your bum in the next contraction. At this point I was still in the bed and I was like, what? And I was like, the baby's coming. And then I did the little push and she was like, yeah, she's coming, I can see it. And she's like, she has so much hair. And then my boyfriend was like, oh my gosh, she has so much hair, because he was down there looking as well. But I was like, I don't want to give birth in this position. Can I go to the pool? And then yeah, as soon as they said that the baby was like on the way, I was like, so I'm 10 centimeters dilated? They were like, yeah. And I got this burst of energy. I don't know where it came from, but you know, I basically jumped out of the bed and waddled to that pool and got in, and I was like, you know, ready to push. And then yeah, so each contraction, little push into your bum, little push into your bum. And then I was like, I felt like I was gonna poo so bad, you know. I don't even know, I was so scared of pooing in that water, but I actually didn't, so I was happy. And then yeah, pushed. I was pushing for about a good hour, and then they were like, if she doesn't come in like, you know, the next 15 minutes or so, we might have to, you know, get you out and, you know, help her along. So I was like, I really didn't want that. I just wanted to have a natural birth. I just wanted to do it by myself. So I was like, 15 minutes, I can do this. And then I was pushing as hard as I can.
Go on. Go on, again. Go on, push right down. Keep pushing.
Push past that stinking, see if you can do it.
As hard as you can.
Go on. Keep going.
Yeah.
Be the bravest you've ever been.
Right. Go on, keep going.
Keep pushing, Cozy, come
Little
on.
pushes into your bum for me. Does she feel like she's coming?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Breathe. Little push into your bum for me. There we go.
There she is.
And then there she was, and it was the best. I don't know, it was just such a out of this world experience. Like, I remember it, but it kind of feels like it's a dream, or like I was on some sort of drug or something. But at this point the drug had worn off and I was on nothing, so it was just literally just me. But it was amazing. The pushing wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, there was like quite a bit of stinging when her head was there actually coming out, but you just had to push through that stinging. And once her head was out, her whole body just came with her. And then she wasn't crying, and then I was like, is she okay? And they were like, oh no, she's just readjusting, you know, adjusting to the new world around her or whatever. And then they were like trying to stimulate her to cry. She was just making these like faces and she wasn't crying. But they're like, she's still getting oxygen from the umbilical cord.
If you just bring that and give her a bit of a rub, just...
Let's get a fresh towel. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Come on, baby.
That's it. You got to tell us all about it.
Yeah, she's just adjusting, don't worry.
Okay.
Come on. Let's hear what you've got to say.
Come on, cry for mummy.
and then she'd make little noises, but then at the end they were like, you know, my boyfriend had to cut the umbilical cord really quickly. You know, we didn't really get to enjoy those moments that I, you know, the way I imagined my labour and delivery to be able to enjoy, watch my boyfriend cut the umbilical cord, take photos of him cutting the umbilical cord. It was just rushed because 4 minutes afterwards, she was gone and out my arms, and my boyfriend had to go with them because she wasn't breathing properly or something. And then I was just in the pool, and then, you know, I had to continue out because I still had the placenta in me, so I couldn't go anywhere. They took me out, put me on this recliner thing, put the injection in me to, you know, help the placenta come along. But then finally they came back with her, and, you know, they said that she just needed some oxygen and stuff, and they're like, oh no, she's okay now. And I was like, she okay? Yeah. And she was making more noises, and I was just so happy I could hold her. They were like, do you want to do skin to skin? And I was like, yes please. They were like trying to get the placenta out, and then they were like, okay, we're gonna have to move you to the other room. So my boyfriend and my mom went into the other room, and then we were on our way to the other room. But then as soon as I stood out, the placenta just dropped out of me. And then they were like, oh okay, well now we need to do your examinations to make sure you're not teared or anything. So I was in another room. So this is like, we were away for about 10-15 minutes. So they were like, oh, you can finally go back to your room. And we went in, and I waddled in, and I was like, oh, you can take a shower and then we can try breastfeed. You know, I was really excited. They were putting clothes on her. I let my mum and my boyfriend put the clothes on her because, you know, even though I hadn't held her for that long, I was like, you know, I'm gonna have the whole night to hold her. Let me just get cleaned, because I felt so icky. But all I did want to do was hold her. So I was like, I'll just take a really quick shower. Went in the shower, came back out, and then my mum and the midwife was there, and my mom was like, is she meant to be doing that? Her color was going in and out. She was like, she would be really red and rosy, and then she'd be like kind of blue. And then the midwife was like, oh, I'm just gonna have to take her to get a pediatrician to look at her. And I was like, oh my gosh, there she was, gone again. But this time it was like for an hour before we heard anything. And when they came back, they were like, we've had to, you know, admit her into the NICU. She's struggling with her oxygen. You know, she has to be put in the little incubator with oxygen and stuff. And we need to monitor her overnight. She might have an infection, so we're going to start her on antibiotics. And they were just saying all this stuff, and I was just kind of like, this can't be happening right now. I was like, I was just so scared. You can't explain it until you experience it. But I was scared I was gonna lose her. You know, it was just such an emotional time. And this time it was like 1 in the morning now, 2 in the morning. Me and my boyfriend were able to go see her in the little incubator, and it just looked so sad with the little wires and little cannula in her foot. And it was just not nice to see. Like, the first proper time holding her, I had to be through like the little holes in the incubator, and I couldn't even lift her up or anything. And I was like, she's not going to be attached to me. She spent more time with her boyfriend. She's not going to know who I am. I was just so worried. But yeah, so we had to stay in hospital. The next day, you know, they were like, oh, we're starting to take her off the oxygen slowly. She's doing a lot better. And that was Mother's Day, you know. The staff there had Mother's Day things for everybody, and it was like a little card that said Mom, and it was addressed to me as if it was from Kanaya. And it was, you know, it cheered me up a bit. And we were able to hold her that day, but she was still attached to all the wires. And then later in the evening, you know, we started to try with the breastfeeding. She had just been, so since then she had only been fed through the a little syringe. She was having colostrum, whatever it's called, and it was really hard, you know, to try to get her to latch on. I felt like she didn't know who I was, but obviously like she did. And then later on that day we had dinner, then we came back, and they were like, oh, she's off the oxygen. You know, it was good to kind of see all the wires start to slowly come off her. So I was able to take her to my bed. And we were hoping to be discharged on the Monday, but then her breathing was a bit irregular. You know, she was breathing quite fast. So like, just to be safe, we don't want to send you out without knowing. We just want to observe her breathing overnight, you know, keep doing the checks. And if everything's okay, you should be able to go home the next day. So I was like, it was just another thing. I was just like, oh, I hope she's okay. But her tests were coming back all clear and good. So, and you know, she never had to go back into the incubator once she left NICU. She was with me and by my bed. And then Tuesday came, and it was such good news when the doctor came. And she was like, oh, you're able to go home. And I was like, finally. And then the last tag and things and cannula got removed from her, and it was just so good. And then we took her to the car. She had her first car journey. being in the hospital, yeah, it wasn't fun and it wasn't what I wanted or imagined for my delivery and labour, but you know, it was the best thing for her at the end of the day, and the doctors and the midwives and nurses were just so good. I couldn't have asked for any better care for her. Yeah, and then we got home and yeah, now we're just chilling with a baby. But yeah, that's about all that happened, and yeah, we're happy now and she's all good and healthy. Everything is good and she's a hungry baby, loves feeding so much. My breasts are swollen and leaking 24/7. But yeah, that's the end of my story. But yeah guys, thank you for watching, and hopefully I'm going to be posting more now, you know, mummy videos, and I'm also going to still be doing my beauty and fashion videos as I want to do, as long as this one lets me film and edit. Hopefully I'll be getting a video every week up, either on Sundays or Fridays. And if you want to see more of Kanaya and me, in the meantime, you can follow me on my Instagram. I'll be posting loads, even though I just not get why people post so many photos of their babies, but she's just so adorable and I just want to show the whole world her. She's just so cute. I love her so much. And yeah, if you want to see more of my videos in the future, you can feel free to subscribe. But other than that guys, I'll see you next time.